We're joined today by the Alzheimer Society of Ireland's latest newlyweds. That's Sean Mackell, who's chair of the Irish Dementia Working Group and living with Alzheimer's disease, and Sean's new wife, Mary Cunningham. Thank you both for joining us today. I'm going to come to you first, Sean. I know that you've been in love for 30 years and living with Mary, but in the middle of COVID-19 and all that was happening in the world, you decided that was the time to pop the question. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I just thought it was the right time. And so Mary and I had the conversation, and we just had, to tie in the knot, and it would just seem to be the right time. So we looked down, we decided to go for, a normal wedding. And we had the most wonderful day. We concentrated on our grandchildren because you're only allowed a small number of people.
Yes.
And so, the grandchildren, we decided, was a sign for the future. And it was magnificent. And the best thing was that one of our grandsons stood up without being asked. He is age 9, and he made a fabulous speech. And that was for me was the highlight. I'm glad that Mary organized everything, because she's
and said yes.
And said yes as well, right? And she has been very kind to me over all the years that we've been together. And I couldn't think of a better person, to be walking down the aisle, So thank you very much.
I always wanted something that was very low key.
Yes.
To be no fuss. I didn't want anything that was going to put, Sean or indeed me under any kind of pressure. So it was kind of primarily, our day.
When we were chatting about whether you would have this conversation with us, I asked you, because we're all desperate for a bit of romance during COVID times, yes, what was your, I suppose, favorite quality about Mary? Obviously, there's so many that you could speak about. And you told me, I thought it was a really beautiful phrase. You said she has the heart of a lion, and she also
Correct.
Always supports the underdog.
Yes,
yeah,
very much.
Could you tell us a little bit about that?
But certainly the other thing is that she enables me to do what I can do and to improve what I can do. Because when you have dementia, sometimes it's hard to get words, it's sometimes hard to get phrases, sometimes you forget, and she's always there. And she said, you can do this, you can do that. And also, I'm not limited by my dementia, because Mary wouldn't allow me to be limited.
Yes.
And she's saying, come on, you're doing this, you're doing it, well done. And she is throwing herself into the area of this as well. Yes. And plays an active role, in that. And that gives me great hope, when I see that around. So yes, I can't think of a person to be beside me.
That's really lovely. You mentioned hope there, and actually all of us on the team, when we heard you were getting married, we thought, God, getting married is such a hopeful thing to do, and it's so lovely during COVID to have something positive and hopeful. Would you like to talk a little bit about that, Mary, about the hope involved in getting married and living with a dementia diagnosis?
Yeah, well, I suppose in that it was kind of probably always, our plan, but then kind of life intervened and we went to it. And then obviously COVID, causes people to take time to reflect on what's important in life. And we decided, just to go for it. When you live in kind of a small place, almost everybody knows everybody else. Yeah. So our next door neighbours were friends with my nephew. And when we arrived back after the ceremony, they had decorated the house, they tied balloons to the house, they put up banners.
Lovely.
We had a procession of Prosecco cards and, and lovely wishes from absolutely everybody.
I'm thinking of that lovely image, as we finish up our conversation, of the neighbors, the grandchildren, the cards coming, the Prosecco, and you gave us all a boost of hope and romance during COVID. And thank you very much for sharing your story with us today.
Thanks,
you
Clodagh.
too.
Thank you.
I couldn't think of a better person, you know, to be walking down the aisle, you know. So thank you very much.